welcome to another episode. I am your host, WIZE, and I have a very special guest. He is the co-founder of the world's first social TV network. Welcome to the show, Dave Van Beekum. Let me put him in first. All right, there we go. How's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, brother. I'm doing well. All right, so let's just jump right into it. So, what can you share with the story behind how do you say it? tweva?
Tweva. Yeah, some people say tweva. It's tweva. It's made to sound a little bit like TV.
Okay.
And we kind of picked the name specifically to be something short and simple that would fit in the social network kind of names. You know, you have your Facebook, or now it's Meta. You know, you have Twitter, TikTok, tweva. And it's made to be nice and short in there because it's going to be a household name. And it's think about this, a TV channel for the city that you live in, community channel that you can control. And it's also it's really made for small businesses and influencers and content creators. So if you think about right now, for you to create content, which we were just talking previous to the show, it's like amazing that me and you can create incredibly great content, but we don't really have the reach on public TV. And so that's what I wanted to fix, is that's what the group tweva is. You know, us three guys, we came together and said, how can we create a TV channel that we can show in businesses that is not only informative to the small business, but also gives like people with a creative side a way to kind of share some of the content that they can create. You know, it's not like people don't have 4K cameras in their back pocket almost 24/7, right? Yeah. It's just a matter of, okay, I might not have enough followers for enough people to see my video. And so we said, what if we could create something that would be shared at the local coffee shop that they go to? You know, they're sitting down, they want to share a cool piece of content or a photo. So we kind of branded under a social network, TV based, for small businesses and influencers.
Wow. That's so Dan, who's a fellow podcaster, he says, wow, loves this idea. And that's one of the reasons I go live now, is because I love the interaction with the audience. It makes them a part of the show, and it now makes it their show as well. So that's one of the reasons I love going live. It's a great experience to be able to do this live.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's part of the piece of that local interaction of, let's say I'm not huge into sports, but if I go sit at a restaurant or a bar, if I were to see you talking with somebody else up on a TV, just this clip, right? I might say, what are they talking about? You know, they see a little title or something. And I wish I could be able to connect in and see what was going on. And that's exactly what we want to do, is spur those little connections, just like you're doing right now in the live side, but have that broadcast to multiple different locations.
Wow.
Yeah.
So as a digital marketing guru and tech expert, what inspired you to step out of your comfort zone and share your knowledge with others?
Well, it was a long process. So pretty much from the beginning of whenever I started to think about working when I was a young kid, and through high school, through the beginning of my work, I've always been that person in the background of building systems, building tech, being part of the video and audio and programming in the background. And so we were building out, me and my partners were building out tweva, and we were still in the kind of building mode phase. So we weren't really going too public with it. But then a co-founder passed away. And so I said, okay, well, we got to keep this thing going. I guess I'm going to have to put my face online, right? And that kind of started the whole thing. But it is quite a difference in thinking and thought process, where everything in code and it's very logical. You know, it's you have to put everything in perfect syntax, and you're checking debugging. And then the the creating content is a very creative side, but it's completely different. And I'm sure you know that, right?
Oh no, it is. It's a completely and it's crazy because I was never I was not I'm not a media guy. I wasn't in media. I wasn't in audio, video production, any of that. And so to be able to use StreamYard and put out the quality production that I put out, the quality show that I put out, I've been learning and wanting to improve. It's like I delved right into StreamYard.
Mm,
So like when we was talking earlier, and we were talking about with the capabilities of what I can do on StreamYard. I have my own studio at
yeah.
home. At home that I can put intros, outros, run ads. So it's giving me the capabilities to go out there, and if I want to sell ad space on my show, I can do that.
Mm, that's
And no,
awesome.
and it's me running the ads
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I'm capable of adding them directly into the show.
Right.
So
That's
it's
where the technology is going, right?
yes,
Where you are creating instead of you doing the tech work of like you building StreamYard, I heard the future's going into audiences
yeah,
where you're getting paid based upon how much audience you have, how much influence you have. Hence the influencer whole entire industry is exploding
yeah.
because it's not like they know how to sit there and do programming. It's not, some do, some make a lot doing programming or gaming, but
Hmm.
a lot of them are just pushing, not I would say pushing, but they're influencing with whatever products they really like. But it's because of the content that they can create.
No, yeah, absolutely. Because I just seen I follow somebody on TikTok and he's funny and everything, and I actually seen him run sort of like a Dawn TikTok. He was running for Dawn liquid soap, and it was a TikTok of him just kind of creating content, but it was basically, he was being sponsored by Dawn at that point. But it's cool that we're able to do this now. Like the opportunities are out there for content creators to really reach a broader audience with all these different platforms. So
Yes.
being able to have, like, right now I'm streaming to 8 different locations from StreamYard.
Wow.
So I'm on 2 Facebook channels, a LinkedIn channel, 2 YouTube channels, Twitch, Twitter, and the BS3 network, which is a Roku channel network. And so,
I'm going to have to get you linked into tweva soon.
hey, we definitely talk.
This is like a perfect segue into talk a little bit about the idea with tweva is those influencers like you talked about. Dawn is
Yeah,
a huge company.
yeah,
That's awesome to get into, but it's Dawn. Everybody knows Dawn. And wouldn't it be cool though if you were an influencer and you had to take your phone out and create cool content, that if you're, I mean, how many roofers are in your town? How many general contractors, electricians, plumbers, small
yeah,
businesses that would just call and say, "Hey, why don't you come in here, create some content for me? I want something to be shown on my TV." Like it's the business has foot traffic. That could be one, right?
hmm,
Can you take pictures of my croissants, my coffee, my desserts? Do your thing, but create it for my TV. And then we're going to share that amongst the whole community. So when they're sitting at the barber shop, I want them to see that steaming coffee and the croissant. And the plumber is going to say his own spiel, right? Like, hey, can you don't get a cheesy picture of me. I want you to get me fixing stuff. Like this old house. Remember how
yeah,
popular that show used to be years ago? It's a couple of contractors. It's like that should be really contractors in our own town doing that and then saying, this is how you fix this. Imagine in your town, if you watch that enough, you see it enough, that guy's going to be branded as like the guy, you know? And so this opens up that piece of the pie that hasn't been opened because TV is pretty much general programming, right? You
hmm,
have for every 60 minutes, you have maybe 54 minutes of content that's pre created. And then you have that little block of advertising. So they auction that off, and who gets it? It's
Of course, the highest bidder.
the highest bidder. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pharma companies, car companies, franchises. So
Yeah.
where's the little guy? Where's me and you? Where can we create content and post it?
So
So
tweva gives that small business that opportunity to actually create their content, run it on these local, and it's basically you're catering to the local communities, and
all
so
local.
it gives them, but it gives them the reach of much more than just being local in a way.
Yeah, it could be beyond your town,
Yeah.
but if you really think about your town, I mean, I have 50,000 people in my town. If I was dog walking, if I was a plumber, I can't handle 50,000 people.
Yeah.
I think you're probably not known enough if you have to drive 45 minutes for work for like, if you're a plumber, right? Because you got to work a little bit on that branding. And I experienced that because I was calling somebody to fix my AC, and I was like, "Hey, how far did you drive here?" And he's like, 45 minutes. I was like, "Really? Wow. Like, you can't find work in your town? Oh, this or that, or like, it's a marketing issue. If people saw you fixing an AC every time they went to Chili's, every time they went to go get a coffee, you'd be first in their mind,
Okay.
But for anything, I mean, talking power washing or putting down bricks in your backyard, web designers, photographers, anything where they miss that whole piece where you can advertise on a digital display somewhere and for pennies. Like it becomes a lot cheaper if you don't say, "Hey, we want to show this to 5 million TVs in Central Florida." Like, what about 10 TVs? It can't be that much.
No.
10, 20, 30 bucks, 40 bucks. It's much easier to risk that and say, "Hey, let me try it." So that's what we want to do, is create a little community driven TV channel that is for the smaller cities. Cause like wherever you live, you have a big city TV channel, but there's like little cities. They don't have their own,
Yeah.
I don't know when the parade is,
No, of course you got your local TV station, but they still cater as far as advertisement to bigger corporations and stuff like that. It's not like they cater, like you see one or two community.
I don't see the band playing on Thursday night on that channel. I don't see like, what are they doing?
Yeah.
What entertainment? Where is it? I don't know. So could we create something that people take out their phones, they download the app, and they're like, "Hey, I want to put a picture of my favorite car on TV when I go to the coffee shop." And maybe it would start a little conversation. You're sitting at the bar, someone else is like, "Hey, let me show you some of my fun photos. Hey, that's the Bugatti I'm going to buy one day. There's my Ferrari I'm going to buy one day." Oh yeah, somebody else will be like, "Yeah, good, yeah, me too." Oh yeah, you like that too, and it starts these little connections in the community, and you can start talking.
So one of the things that I've recently been using a lot of is AI. How does automation and AI play a role in the development and growth of tweva?
Yeah, so AI was. Did you initially really like AI, or were you like, after watching, you grow up with movies like Matrix and stuff? You kind of
I've growing up with the Matrix and growing up with Terminator, the first one, first thing and stuff. Yes, you always think of Skynet when you think of AI.
Yes.
And so, but once I had a friend introduce me to ChatGPT in November. When they first came out, he was one of the first people that said me that he's like, "Yo, this is a game changer for content creators, podcasters, everything," and he wasn't lying. And it's now become like I use ChatGPT, Cast Magic. I love Cast Magic because it takes my audio. So I have my video podcast that I do stream Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Then I also have a audio podcast that I take one of those episodes and I strip it and I upload it to my RSS feed. And Cast Magic has helped me as far as my audio side. It's helped me transcribe episodes, put closed caption on those episodes. It's done so much for me in the last few months, or last month and a half since I started using it. with the way I
Literally
kind
game
of.
changing.
It is.
Yeah.
And even with this, with my video portion, I use ChatGPT. I took all your information, that the profile you sent me and everything, and I fed it into ChatGPT,
Yep.
and it spit out a description of what this show was going to be about, the topics that we were going to discuss, because that's the information I put into it.
Yep.
So
Yep.
when you, and people think, oh, ChatGPT does all the work. No, because you have to put in the proper prompts and the proper information for it to spit out something that you really
That's
want or
meaningful.
use. Yes.
Yeah, that's meaningful. That's meaning. That's as far as we kind of go with it too. Is there's pieces of it that you can use, but it has to be used in the proper way. You can't just say, give me text to say, and then you read it verbatim, because it's not always correct. But we use it in several different parts of it. Like, one of them would be, if somebody walks into a bar and or a restaurant or anywhere where there is a TV, we might say, hey, this person's interested in these 3 things. What would this person generally like to see as far as ads? If this guy's interested in motorcycles, most likely there's a local motorcycle repair shop. There's probably somebody selling gloves on Amazon, like leather gloves, or, the jackets and stuff like that. And we can kind of move around a little bit of that content to something that's informational for him or her. And, take that away when they walk away, because it's not really worth advertising to the wrong person. So we use a little AI in that side. And then also in a little bit of content creation, because we're working with the small business as far as their marketing. We said, why don't we help them with their social media too? Because they're going to be taking a picture of something. Let's say it's a restaurant. They're going to be taking a picture of their food, right? And they're going to add that to the TV network. Well, that picture works just as well on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, right? All of them, as you know, you're streaming to 8 different ones, right? So we use a little bit of AI in there too, to help create a little bit of content for that business owner to use one app and then post out to up to 10 social networks. But it has to be done in a very polite way. You can't just go to ChatGPT and say, I need a social media post. You really have to become granular with it.
You got to really, because it's not going to really know what kind of business is it? Is it a diner? Is it a bakery?
Yes.
Is it a plumber? You have to put in the proper information in order to get the proper results that you're looking for.
And it's still not perfect even after that.
No, it's not. It's not.
It's like, it gives you an idea,
That's why you don't necessarily use all of it. You take what's pertinent to what you're trying to create, and you use that. And the stuff the stuff that makes no sense or doesn't fit in, you don't use it. And that's what I've been able to do, is the stuff that fits what I'm trying to express or trying to convey out there. I use that, and stuff that I'm like, that doesn't fit, just knock it out, just cross it off, take it out. It's this. Like, one thing I've started doing is my 30 tips in 30 days reels, right? So I had ChatGPT write me 30 tips to share with podcasters. And of course I took it, and I took every idea, and now I've just been having ChatGPT write scripts, and of course I take those scripts and make it my own. And then I work on them and I release them. But
it's that creative side to, what little piece could we talk about for this tip? It kind of creates that little node or that road of, okay, go down this and go talk about this piece.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. Sometimes it throws in, like, because it is scanning the internet, it's pulling content from different places. It sometimes will grab wrong information, a phone number, this or that, and it still has to be reviewed anyway. So you have to watch out, like, as far as businesses, if you're looking at it, there are other services that can help with that, that would scan through it. Like ChatGPT is kind of like, what would you call that? The very raw version of the AI.
Yeah.
right? And then there's other services that say, hey, I'm going to create blogs with it. And they probably have 5 different filters that they run it through. And
Yeah.
there's somebody, did you see the video one that will cut your clips up or cut a clip up, like 30-minute clip, and find the sentences and put the CC on it? I think it's called Opus.
There's so many different ones out there.
Yeah, it's
There's new
wild.
ones
I'm like,
popping up. There's new ones popping up every day, and it's if you find the proper tools, the proper ones that help you, it can be an amazing. You can do so many different
make
amazing
you
things.
like that one program to cut your clips up, let's say for this show.
Yeah.
And you might have said, maybe not one of my sentences are smart, but maybe yours is, and it'll find one of yours and clip it, beginning and end, and then put the CC on it and put emojis in it. And you're going like, how long would that take?
So Cast Magic, I use that. And what Cast Magic does, it creates and this is for my audio, it creates, but I've already have titles, but it creates titles, keywords, a speaker bio, introduction that I can use to the episode. It's time stamped. Questions and answers. It gives me questions and answers I could ask the audience or whatever if I choose to do that. Key topics and bullet points. But this is the one I love the most. It pieces out quotes and hooks and stuff that.
So that's similar.
Yeah, that I guess, or even it'll like right now, if I look at it, at the episode I just released with Sharon Hughes, it'll give me a bunch of some quotes that stood out. And so if I wanted to repurpose the video, I can go to this timestamp that it gave me and clip that out and clip that's where
that give you timestamp for it. Okay, yes. I see.
It gives me the timestamp for it, so I can go look for that quote video, that piece, and it helps me chop it up, right? And now I know what time, so I go directly to that time, and it saves me, instead of having to scan through the whole entire video, looking for nuggets. It's giving me nuggets.
Yep. That's wild. It's taking away the I hate to say, it's like taking away a little bit of editor's job there of sitting there for 4 or 5 hours and saying, go find me,
As an editor, it benefits us because now it's saving us time instead of having to sit down and look for content.
Yep.
It's cutting out the content for us, and it's making our job so much easier now.
And then you can take on more. And you know what's good about taking on more is then you can kind of identify trends, because you never do that where you're working on one thing and you're like, okay, this is good. And then if you knew you were working on 10 things, you could find a trend quicker. And I think about that from the brain perspective is you can identify the more projects that you work in, you can see those trends happening and you can help the other projects. So I think we're going to see trends move quicker because of these things too.
Oh no, it's definitely, it is definitely a game changer. It's helped me in the last few months since I started using ChatGPT and Cast Magic. It's helped me structure my show much better. It's made it so much, because I didn't know anything about structuring any shows. I just come record it.
Yeah.
And so when I started really using ChatGPT, it helped me with, all right, these are some good questions you may ask.
Right.
You might not want to use all of them, but there's certain questions like, oh, I like this question, let me ask this one. Or even with how just like putting a description, creating the type, all these things that you have to spend time
taking
doing
hours
to create.
Figuring out keywords and descriptions and
so when you put it into ChatGPT and you go, all right, create me titles that have SEO keywords and all these other things, and that's what it does. So when I put them into YouTube and other platforms, you could tell the titles have when because I use vidIQ with my YouTube channel,
Hmm.
and vidIQ is a program where they use AI as well to help you come up with descriptions, titles, short ideas, all these different things for YouTube. And so there's so many different tools to and a lot of people like, oh, it's going to take away a lot of jobs. Me personally, I think it's going to give a lot of people opportunities and jobs that wouldn't have those opportunities in the past.
Yeah, I think it's an educational thing. Like when we started talking about it, some people's view is it's this Skynet, you
Yeah,
know, oh my goodness, it's so scary. I don't know how to use it. And I imagine the same thing was with pick a technology, the car, the gun, the spaceship, the airplane, like anything. It was like, oh, that's scary. And it is for the first year or two, but it's so powerful because you have thousands of people programming in it. And the team is more scary because you're trying to figure out something that 1,000 people came up with, not just one person. So it is more complicated, but it is incredible. It's thousands of times more powerful. And I think it will, like you're saying, give people a lot more opportunity to be able to do things like, just think about if you were too busy every single day creating podcasts and video casts, and somebody just said, I want to take over all the editing pieces. They didn't know exactly how to write a description or a title, right? But they could power through, I don't know, a few podcasts a day, I would imagine, right? And so
yeah,
that leaves that job opportunity open for somebody. They don't have to be a content creator, but they could literally just manage the post production of many podcasts. And that, I imagine, will be very big because even our platform for tweva, we're going to need content creators and then producers that want to create content for local TV. And that's a whole business that doesn't even, like, I'm talking to people and they go, what, a TV channel for my city? What is that? I know. It's like telling somebody they should be on Facebook 20 years ago. They would say, why? It's not a thing yet.
yeah.
But it's going to create a whole entire industry of people that are going around creating videos for businesses, but it's raw video. It's like raw chat GPT. It's not usable in just the raw format. You have to edit it. You have to put music. You have to put graphics on it. You have to put
Hmm.
animations on it. And it becomes an industry, a mini industry. But like you're saying, with the power of those AI tools, oh my word, it's going to become exponential, you know?
No, it's definitely gonna change a lot. It's changed a lot of things for creators now. And if you're one of the if you're one of the few people that is really taking advantage of the AI tools that are out there, because there's a lot of people who just killing it using these tools to their advantage and helping themselves grow and create some amazing
Yep.
content.
You got to
So
take it like a deep dive, like jump in and
you have
spend
to.
a
No,
week in the tool and just
you
see like, hey, does this do everything?
you
Even
can't
if you
just
don't
yeah,
use that tool
you can't
for
just expect to just, oh, I'm gonna start using it.
right.
No, you really gotta commit yourself to really finding out, learning about the proper prompts,
Yep.
learning. And that's one thing that I'm very, once I find a tool that I like, I'll start working on it and start, let me see how does this work, what does this part of the tool works, what did this. And that's just me wanting excuse me, wanting to improve and wanting
Hmm.
to master whatever tool it is that I'm using,
Yep.
because the moment I get to master it, it makes it so much easier. It helps me
Yes,
with everything else.
absolutely. I was thinking like the technology that you have. I mean, you have a studio, and imagine the days when they were trying to go to the moon and the desks that they would sit at during the day and the buttons and the computers, and they would have to go through this same procedure of, oh my goodness, I can't figure this out, it's so complicated, da, da, da. And we're literally doing this now with 4 or 5 screens around us. Half of us in America have that, right? Two
Yeah.
screens at least on our computers. software up, any kind of software that you want to use, sitting there kind of, how do I figure this out? How do I figure that? But we're doing it, most of us, in our homes and not at work. And it's like, we probably have more power than they did as far as technological computing and not decision making, but you know what I'm saying? It's like that same struggle that they were going through during the work hours, we have the opportunity to do that times 1,000, because there's, like you said, how many pieces of AI software, just AI software,
Yeah, just AI
software.
Like,
there's
there's a
video
new one
editing,
coming out
but
every week. There's a new one coming out every week, so you're like, oh, okay, this is a new one. All right,
yep,
let's see.
yep. I see those on some of those software sites where they have the startups and stuff, and I'm like,
Yeah.
how many are there? There's literally a new brand next week that's coming out, and they do similar things, but somebody's got an API that connect into this piece of software. I'm like, oh my goodness. Well, if you start with this one, this could work for the next 5 years because this could connect into this piece, and your brain starts to do exactly what an engineer would have done 30, 40 years ago in the space industry, saying, how do we get this connected? What happens in 5 years?
Yeah.
We're literally doing those kind of things. It's wild.
No, it is. It's like you said, at home. I'm in my house, but I have a studio in my house. I have a camera. I have equipment in front of me, monitors, everything, and even before the pandemic, this wasn't something that everybody was doing. Like, so when the pandemic hit and everybody was forced to use Zoom, use other platforms, StreamYard has benefited us extremely. And in the 2 years since, they've rolled out so many different tools to make it so much easier for you as a content creator to create content. It's like, oh man, this is amazing. You just like, oh, I could do this now. I can do that. I can. I don't need to go here and do this anymore. I can do it
sit in a time-based editing line and edit this. I mean, I was doing this when there was VHS cameras and you had to import it with analog into USB 1.
Wow.
And it was so slow, 640 by 480 video.
Yeah.
640 pixels, 640 pixels. And then when it finally went to Firewire, it was, oh, now I need a new computer. What am I going to do with a 3 gigabyte hard drive? I think a DV tape was maybe a gig or 2 gig. And, but the progression of the audio and video side is just so amazing. I saw a couple ads for Adobe. I think it was Adobe Firefly.
Wow.
Have you seen that?
No.
Adobe's taking the AI piece and putting it into some of their editing. I think that is also in Photoshop too. So you can tell Photoshop, it almost looks like a Chat GPT prompt of, here, select this box at the bottom and make it look like I'm sitting at the beach. And it will take whatever it is and kind of fade it in. And it's wild. I mean, imagine there's a little bit of work being done to make it look pretty for, the ads or the TikToks or the Instagrams. But in general, it's giving that creator, instead of sitting down and finding a picture of a beach and photoshopping it in, they're getting it done in a couple of minutes, and they get to move on to a new image, a new client, a new something.
Oh, the logo right there stuck in my mind. Midjourney. I created that on Midjourney.
Really?
Yes.
No way.
Yeah.
That's a cool logo.
And it's a mic, because it's the base of it is the mic, then the top is the head, and then it's the brain. So it was crazy. And when I put it into Midjourney and I put the prompts in it and everything I wanted, and when it spit that out, I was like, perfect. This is the logo.
Like, this
I
is
want.
beautiful.
Yeah.
It looks like a lot of, when I first saw it, I was like, that's a lot of Photoshop time. Wow. That is. There's gradients in there. There's particles in there. There's the ISO mapping of the face. The light bulb is in the bottom. The corkscrew on it. The point. I'm like, oh my goodness, that's okay.
Yeah, no, and
Mr.
that was
AI,
that was AI. Yeah, it was AI. I've come to.
It's great.
But that's like, whenever someone, like, I have a friend, Jeff Ravilla, shout out to you, brother. every time he gets a new, he hears of a new tool or he hears of a new program, he'll shoot me a link like, "Yo, check this out." Because he knows that if it's interesting to me, I'm gonna dive into it and I'm gonna go right
Mm.
into like, okay, let me see what this can do. What's his full capabilities? And it's great to have someone who thinks of you when you're like, I think Wise might enjoy this.
It's
Let
like
me
an
send
it's like
this
an
to him.
additional filter.
Yeah, and see what he could do with it.
Hey, stick on the API ones because that's where the world, you kind of know that, I would imagine, being in the tech world. But the APIs, everything is being built with JSON APIs, JSON. And so you could take a piece of text and throw it at Chat GPT, or take 5 pieces of text and throw it at Chat GPT. So what I always tell people is, if you're going to invest in technology or software subscriptions, ask the tech or look for APIs, because I don't use Zapier, but Zapier integrates with pretty much all APIs. But you can create workflows. Like, as you start to learn a piece of software, you can say, okay, I took this. Like, let's go with the basic of your logo, right? You could say, okay, I want my logo to be on 200 types of T-shirts, mugs, cups, promotional. So all you have to do is find now somebody that has an API that can smack the logo on a cup, because they do those transforms, like to make it
Yeah.
curved, whatever. And so if you can take that piece of logo and then just send it over, boom, you have now marketing store. That's just one thing, though. Then you have
Mm.
T-shirts, hats, hoodies, pants, right? Graphical. But that's just a logo. I mean, you have to think about where we are, where we were 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Okay, what about a snippet of audio? What can be done with that? Okay, can you smack on an intro, an exit, and give me 5 different versions of a podcast with different intros for different sites? Then can you take that and push that out to different platforms? It's just, but if you're stuck in a piece of software that doesn't have input and output, you're stuck by whatever that development team has said. Okay, we're going to develop this product, and 10 years from now, we're going to be the end all. Well, that takes 10 years. So you always want to look for systems that have that input and output via API, application programming interface, because you don't think about it now, but as you learn their program, you'll get to the point you're like, okay, I'm repetitiously doing this action. Can I automate this? And this will be a thought that you'll have in 2 years. And you'll say, oh yeah, good. I knew that they had APIs. So, and somebody will probably come out with software that does maybe even easier than Zapier. Like, you just
Well,
speak into your Alexa.
yeah, right. But it's what was it? I use, because I'm also getting into automation of all my stuff and everything. I'm using SendFox. It's a couple other things that I'm able to enter, because I'm an AppSumo affiliate now, and so
That was the
I'm
one I
using.
was going to say before. AppSumo is like, you find all these.
I love AppSumo.
Yeah.
So I'm using Big View right now, and it's this app that I can use on my desktop or on my phone. Basically, it's a teleprompter, and it record. So it also has AI in it, where you can create little ads, little pitches, and all this stuff, and use your phone as the teleprompter and record a reel or whatever it is, or whatever, and it you put all your platforms, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and once you record it, it releases it to all those platforms. So that's what I'm using right now to release my 30 tips in 30 days is Big View, because it was something that I purchased on AppSumo, and it was like, okay, this is made it. I actually have to release day 11 later on after the record, but it's is motivating me to do the 30 days. Like, I've never
It's easier
released,
now.
yeah, I've never released 30 reels in 30 days. I've probably released, I'm being honest, I wasn't being consistent with it.
Yeah.
And this
It's
is
hard to
kind of,
be.
Yeah, it's kind of me kind of challenging myself to do these 30 reels in 30 days. And but when you have tools like this, it's so much easier now.
That's kind of what it is. Like, you can feel motivated if you can get something done within the intention span of what you value it to be. And if a reel is so short, you don't have like 5 hours that you can value it with. You have to be able to create content quick. And remember, move trends very quick. Okay, you didn't think about 30 tips 6 months ago or a year ago, but now it's something. So jump on the bandwagon and create something for those. So you immediately found a tool that could allow you to create something quickly, which is, you know, you're very smart because you're going to the tool, to the software side, saying, okay, can I find something that can help me get on this trend or build content quicker?
Yeah,
Right. And that's what makes the difference between you and, let's say, somebody trying to edit it on a time-based editor, you know?
yeah, yeah. No. It's definitely been so much fun learning about these tools and then and then using them. That's the most fun. It's the most fun part about it, is when say I'm learning about these tools, yes, but then is when I start using them, and it it's just, again, time. Everything, it comes down,
Yeah,
when it comes down to it, it comes down to time. Something
it
that's very
does.
precious, something that we really can't get back, is the time.
Yep.
So anytime you're able to cut back on spending time on editing, or spending time on I need to write a script, or I need to do this. Using these tools allows you now, instead of spending hours on the process of create on how am I gonna set this up, help to use these
Mhm.
tools to like give you at least an idea of a blueprint, and then you just go off that blueprint, and things that, again, if it doesn't fit what you're trying to do, you take it out, and you use what is that what you can relate to, it. You're like, okay, yeah, this makes sense for this. Let me use this.
Yep.
But I tell everybody, like, recently, I'm like, yo, these are tools that you really need. Like, they ask me, what are you using? I'll let them know what I'm using, exactly what tools I'm using. I'll give them links, because a lot of them now I've become affiliates to, and that's
Mhm.
something else as a podcaster that you should learn, is affiliate marketing, is
Yep.
getting these links to tools that you may use already, and somebody else might benefit from using this tool. Share that link.
Yep.
You
Yeah,
get a
that's a
little
huge
commission.
piece. Yeah, most small businesses, that without that exposure of someone sharing that content or what they do or how they do it, they can't get off the ground. You know,
Mhm.
because, like you said, with the big view, they probably tried to do something and said, "There's no app for this. I'm going to fix this problem." And now it's about, okay, how do I get this out to 1 million people? And that's their main piece. And it's really great that they can share, the affiliate side with other people too,
Yeah.
because now you're helping other people benefit from the software.
Mhm.
But you're ultimately saving a lot of people a lot of time.
Yeah.
And again, this is one piece of software. As we grow and into the next couple years, you have to think about, when people say, oh, I'm using AI or AI this and that, it will be beneficial if you use it correctly,
No,
you
it
know?
is. And one of the things with AppSumo is, a lot of these licenses that you purchase on them are lifetime licenses.
Yes.
So
Yes.
there's tools that people have been using 10, 13 years from that they
Mhm.
purchased on AppSumo, that now they no longer exist, or they're no longer at the price that they purchased it. Like, I got Big View at a great price, $49.99 lifetime license.
Mhm.
Now
Yep. Yeah.
there's other things, if you want to upgrade that, if you want to purchase, you can do that. But I have a lifetime license, and for what I use it for, it works. It works, and now I have a tool that I have for life, that I can
Well,
continue to use.
you're helping the big view guys too, because in the investment side, like in venture capital, when we're talking to them about raising capital, millions of dollars, they say, okay, well, look, I need to know, if 1,000 people open your app, when do they close it? I need to know if the big green button is working, or should it be a big blue button? And so they don't want you to come to them and say, look, I got my uncle likes it, and my aunt likes it, and my mom and my dad like it, and they can use the app and it works well. They don't want to hear that. They want to know thousands of people have been through, and it's quote unquote market tested, not even in what you think the industry is. It has to be what the industry is, using it. It's not the people that it's the people that you don't know that want to use that, like let's say Big View, right? Or any other type of small software. So when they're giving you the discount, they're most likely saying, okay, here, you can have this, but I want some input. Give me something. Tell me if this doesn't work over here. And this is the cool thing, is they listen very, very good in the very beginning, because they're very attentive to how do we create a really great application. And when you got 1,000 people in there that knew, and like 50 people complain, they make those changes quick.
Yeah.
And when you try to tell that to Adobe Photoshop, right? They're like, yeah, okay, we got millions of people. Now you need 100,000 to complain to really make a change. So it's a really neat, like AppSumo, and there's others out there, where when you invest in that, startup software world, send an email to them, say, hey, I love this, I don't really like this. And you'll be surprised, in a couple of weeks, they might push an update and bam, it's right there. And those little things, like you could say, hey, I spent too much time doing this. And they're very attentive to those things.
Yeah. No, there's definitely some things that I'm gonna do what you told me. What you just said. I'm gonna reach out to Big View, and like just because I've been using it since I've purchased it. I've used it every day, it every day, and so I'm gonna do that.
You'll move up. You'll move up real quick to a first name basis there, because think of how many people don't say something.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm telling you, that's what they tell me. That's what we need in that beginning start of, okay, do people really know? Why would they leave the app? Because you have a great idea, right? You have, this can work here, this can work there. But that might not be what 1,000 people do, or 10,000 people do. And that's what you really need to know, is because then you start talking about 2%, 5%, 10% of that crowd buying or not buying, staying with the subscription or not. It makes a huge difference. Like rounded edges or not, bold or not, like silly things, Do we put an animation while people wait for something? Little things, but they really do matter in the long term.
And I'm learning that now, especially with these startup apps and these startup techs and all this. They want your feedback. They do. They want you to tell them, hey, listen, this is not working, or this is not working how I envisioned it, or whatever it is.
Yep.
And you never, and like you said, you never know, they might push an update up quicker. Or
Yep.
So
that's what I'm constantly in my world. It's how to make that customer happy, come back, and then solve the problems that he has. That's what software is. It's a button on the screen for you, but to me, that button requires 50 hours of programming. So I have to make sure that it's done the right way, and it does what it's supposed to do. And if I don't like to wait 15.3 seconds, I get bored at 9. Okay, can we offload a little bit of that processing to a server? Because this is going to be times 10,000, 100,000. I want 1 million users. How do we make them? Like Facebook has servers in your town. They have servers all over, and so do Google, because they just want super fast loading content. And there's a whole entire algorithm of all of your friends. Like, they don't, like, let's say I'm in Florida and you have somebody in California. They preload content from California back to Florida if you're there, so that when you see it, it's fast. They don't pull it back from California. And originally, you'd have to. But there's all these algorithms that go into the best user experience of someone using the app, hence why they use it. So it's very complicated in the background, but you definitely make startups happy when you pay them, even if it's a little bit, because they're like, great, okay, if we have enough people telling us what we need, we don't have to change this in 5 years or 3 years or 6 months.
Yeah.
It's we can get it right now. Okay, it's a discount, but we know it's right. And so they appreciate that, because I appreciate that.
But oh man, Dave, this has been great, man. Oh, this has been awesome. I appreciate you being
Oh,
on
I
the show.
love
Now,
talking tech.
but you're not over yet. It's not over for you yet. You get the
Okay, yeah.
screen, you get the solo layout, you get to plug away, let everybody know where they can find you, where they can find Tiva, everything.
Oh yeah. So um, love to have you guys join tweva. So tweva, if you have a small business with foot traffic, uh, we are looking to help you put in a digital TV and a digital sign in your business, and then have content creators connect with you, create content for your business, and then share it on TVs all around your community and possibly other communities too. But you can find us online at tweva.com. It's TWEVA, or you can download our mobile app. And our mobile app for TV is out for Google. It's coming out for Apple real soon. But you can connect with us online, hit up our social, or just find me online at Dave Van Beekum. All right.
Oh man, thank you, Dave. This has been great. Uh,
Yeah, it's been
been a
fun. I
pleasure
love
having you on the
talking
show.
tech, man.
Oh, listen, I
Love it.
love talking about this, and I'm now getting into like with these last few years is when I'm really getting into tech and doing the research and learning about certain equipment and different things and different tools, and I've come to realize that I love it.
It's so funny. It's like everybody's in tech now. When
Yeah,
I was young, it was like, oh, you're in tech? That's amazing. You know, there's a computer wire over here. Oh, he's in tech. It's like if you have a pretty serious iPad, you're in tech now because, you know, an iPad is upwards of $1,500 for the M2 processor. And the capabilities of things now are just so incredible. So everybody's partaking of this tech piece, and it's just a matter of how much time do you spend in it and do you enjoy it. And if you don't enjoy it, maybe there's another program out there, you know, that you do enjoy, because like you said, there's thousands of them every single day.
yeah. It is. But don't leave just yet. I'm gonna close out the show, and me and you're gonna chat a little bit off the air. But it's been great having you on the show, man. This has been
Yeah,
great.
thanks for having me.
Oh, the pleasure's mine. Anytime I get to talk tech and talk stuff that I'm interested about, is it's good for me. It's great for me actually. But so there's somebody in the audience might want like there's a lot of content creators that stop by. I have
Mm.
Cece, she's a content creator. She's amazing. My man Dan, who has his own podcast. He's also got
I
some great
love
content.
content creators. Love them.
Yes. So whenever I can share knowledge like this where they can benefit from some of these programs, I love it. And I love to be able to share tools that might benefit a small business owner or someone out there, because a lot of my friends are small business owners. They might be watching this. They might that might be interesting. It might be something that I
Yeah.
might want to use for my business and
I
have
want
them create
everybody to
content for me.
use. Yeah,
Yeah,
this is like a platform that everybody can put in their business. It shows the weather, it shows their social media, it shows pictures of their food and their things. Like if we have it in a couple barber shops and they show the pictures of the hair, but also when a content creator comes in, I want them to share what they've done. If you create NFTs, that should be on your local community. If you create art, that should be on the community. You create little clips, podcasts, videos. I mean, you can't put 30 minutes on,
yeah,
but you can put a couple minutes on, and that's building your audience and building your following. But it's also community. It's like, hey, that's my buddy. You know, I know him. And the barber can talk about this, or the server.
yeah.
This doesn't exist right now. So it's a little bit complicated. It's a little bit educational, but I think it's going to be a big thing because so many people, like we're talking about, have these tools and they're
Yeah.
just at the beginning stages of that. Like, let's think in 10 years, there's going to be many more content creators, kind of like YouTube started, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
love to have anybody. If you have anybody has any questions, just, you know, either put them in the comments or send you an email and we can follow up.
Oh, definitely. Anybody out there who wants to know anything, or if one, I definitely could make a connection with David, and y'all could link up. But this has been great. Thank you so much. I appreciate you
Yeah.
stopping
Thanks for
by,
having
man.
me.
Oh, this has been a pleasure. Like I said, anytime I get to share something new, because this is
Mhm.
new and inventive, and like CC said earlier, it's interesting. And Dan was like, he loves the idea. So
Yeah.
people can see the vision. They can see what the benefit of tweva and being able to use it to their advantage, especially for small businesses And again, it's all about being able to help small businesses. It's like
That's
these big
all.
corporations, they're fine, they'll be taken care of. But who
Yep.
is helping out the small business owners? Who are the
That's
people out there who are stepping up for the small business owners to help them
Yep.
stay in
My business
business?
partners in tweva are literally small business owners.
Yeah.
Like we're small non-franchise business owners, and like we got to create something to help, because you live through the COVID time. You're like, oh my goodness, any tool that we can use.
Yeah,
We
definitely.
try to build it.
But don't leave your set. Let me just close out the show, and we'll talk a little bit off the air.
All right.
All right. So now it is time for shout outs. Big shout out to my girl CC for coming through. Appreciate all the support. Love it. Big Dan, what's up? Thank you, fam, for coming through and showing some love. Big Ben from the BS3 Network. Catch us every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern, sometimes 6 p.m. Depends on my schedule on the BS3 Network. Download it from your Roku channel today. Big shout out to my Real Wise fam, Poppy J, Brandy J. Love you guys. Big shout out to the boss lady. Love you and appreciate you, baby. Big shout out to David Van Beekum for coming through and sharing his knowledge, and people definitely check out tweva. It's something that's going to be a game changer for small business owners, so definitely check it out. And last but not least, to all the essential workers out there, God bless y'all. Be safe. You know how your boy Wise does it. Peace out.